right, peace, fam. Hit the like button, hit share, hit subscribe. You want to leave some comments under this video, you can. Obviously, this is Replay Gang, and this is hey, you know this happened over a month ago. I didn't find out after it happened, so better late than never. And I just want to say condolences to the family of MoneyToBurn, aka Charla. I mean, I'll leave some links down there. Just want to go over exchanges that we had, and she just went through some of the issues that she was having, that she was going through, and also, hopefully help out her family with some of the causes that she's went through. But also, unfortunately, being that she was in the sector, got to go over some sector effery by the sector's #1 troll and troublemaker. But let's first just get into this. Rest in peace to her. Like I said, we had a brief history. I just want to set the record straight. And let's go right into, if I may, let's go into StreamYard has changed. It's kind of switched up. So they do things differently, which kind of takes things a little bit longer, but I shall figure it out as I always do. All right. So this is a couple years ago, right? Now, notice with this, right? And let me blow this up a little bit. Now, you're going to notice throughout these exchanges, I have the real email crossed out, because I don't want anybody, sending emails or anything like that. Like, I'm not even going to do that. So, but here's what she said. This was back in 2021. Hey, Nappy, just want to let you say hello. Let you know again that I enjoyed your stream last night. You are so smart and well-spoken. Aw. I always love to hear your perspective on things. I didn't know much about Jay Morrison, yet another Jermaine. So I did learn a little about him tonight. It gave me something to look into, as I am a real estate professional myself, and I have been for 8 years now. Anywho, if or when you decide to assign some mods, let me know. If you want my help, I'll be glad to do that. I rocks with you. Let me know. MoneyToBurn. And yeah, I did make her a mod, and she just gave me a little insight of what she does for a living. And I did say, of course, thanks, I will, up here. And she said, can you send your YouTube? And I asked her, can you send your YouTube page? To which she did. She's not a content creator, and the YouTube page is still alive. There's just no content on there, because she said there isn't much to see here, but here it is anyway. And the link does work. I'll leave the link there as well. I don't think there's really nowhere to post anything. So, but let's continue. Let us continue. So this was, and let me explain this, because let's just go back to this for a second. See, I'm showing you the little bit that's in the email, but this email didn't start with, can I be a mod? This actually started with her breaking down a little bit of, I guess, beefs started with her and a couple of people in the sector. And let me just say this. I know nothing about the beef. I don't want to know. Just to give you the skinny, I guess, she and Star and Binary, I guess they were having a back and forth. Also, Smoke was involved as well, and Smoke kind of came at me for whatever reason. As you know, Smoke can be a bit mercurial, but she just broke it down, and I, for the most part, try to stay away from the beefs unless it's really necessary. I mean, there's only a few people that I cannot stand and that I would probably spit on them if I saw them in person. One of whom is going to be, he's going to have a new residence by this time next year, but I'll leave that one alone. But yeah, but here's what I said in response to that. And again, I'm not going to show that because I know nothing about the beefs or the stories or anything that she was going through in the sector. I didn't even know until just recently. But my response to all of it was, listen, no worries. I don't feed off the emotions, quite honestly. I was offended, which I was, that Smoke insinuated I was sent to cause drama. But this is how these things, again, these beefs, you say something wrong and just automatically there's like a back and forth over nothing. But Umar and his cronies, so I'm guessing the goofy guys, were also their fingerprints all over this nonsense. They're more than enough to go around. I'll try to minimize it on my platform, but it seems unavoidable. And no, you don't have to hand over your wrench. So I guess something happened where I guess she thought one of the kerfuffles was started by her. But again, back then, there was a point that Smoke was just going after her. He's just paranoid and just attacking everybody. And I was, I caught a couple of strays. And I just told him, try to get another live up tonight. If not tomorrow, no biggie. All right. So that's basically was the exchange there. Now, let's continue. This one was, she had sent me a super chat and she said, I think, let me just blow this up some more. All right. It starts here. I think I sent you another $20 Cash App by mistake, either last night or early this morning. My bad. Disregard that message. Yeah, I think that she said something. She was like, whoa, that was too much. I think I remember that. Disregard that. It was for someone else, but keep the money. No need to send it back. Coffee, gas, coffee, lunch, money on me. Have a great week. Then she said, now if it was 820, it would be a whole different story. I would need to have the love offering back. And obviously she's referring to the eyes and conscious energy incident where eyes mistakenly saying conscious energy $820 as opposed to $20, and conscious energy gladly took it and stepped and broke north. And obviously that started a whole new narrative in the sector. And yeah, I said, peace and love, sister. Thanks again. And all of that. So that's what happened there. So let's keep it moving. Then, yes. Said, hi, Nappy. This is in a year later. She says, I'm sending you a personal invite to the Fatherhood Mafia presents 80s, 90s verses. And yeah, I guess she was having a little verses between Ladies Edition featuring MoneyToBurn and Keeper. It's going to be tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Be there or be square. Please share on your community wall, which I probably did. And I had a good time giving you a hard time this morning. Thanks for being a good sport. See you tomorrow. And I said, I got it. Do you have a banner for it? And she showed me the thumbnail. And by the way, this was on Corey's platform. and the link is still alive. It's still on his platform. All right. And this is it. Fatherhood Mafia presents, and obviously 80s, 90s R&B versus Ladies Edition, MoneyToBurn versus Keeper. And yeah, if you want, you can you can check it out. And let's keep it moving. Now, this is another thing she said. I think this was a month later. I said, hey, Nappy, I know you'll be most likely watching the game, which I was. This was obviously during the Super Bowl, middle of February. And if you can, but please come through the Slater's page and hang with us for a few. This is going to be Glow versus Keeper. So I guess, Glow hung with them as well, which we'll get into that in a second. But Glow versus Keeper, 80s to late 2000s hip hop. It should be fun. That's the link. The link is still alive. And this is what it looks like. Fatherhood Mafia presents Versus Battle, Ladies Edition, Hip Hop 80s to Current, and Part 1, Glorione Murray to Keeper versus Keeper. Keep in mind, this is after the pandemic when everyone was going at each other's throat over Jermaine, aka Umar. And people were just, they kind of expanded and started to, do more things in the whole sector. So to try to build their channels, you know what I mean? So, as you see there now, unfortunately, and next, let's just one more thing here. Yes. This was later on. It said, hey, Nappy, we're going over to Keeper's page in a few, and we're going to be discussing the Tommy Sotomayor incident. All right. And if you're not busy, come through. What was the Tommy Sotomayor incident? This is when he was on Fresh and Fruity's platform, and he got into an argument with this, I think she was a lady of the night that he paid for, had sex with, and they got in the show. And he started arguing and screaming. And yeah, this is something that went viral. And she wanted to have a discussion about it. And I believe, I did say I'll be there. And she said, great. I'm glad, and so on. It's kind of cut off, but that's basically what we sat down and talked about. She said, okay, great. I'm all for it, and blah, blah, blah. Now, folks, let me just pause here. And like I said, unfortunately, got to deal with the effery. We had unfortunately, from like I said, the biggest, menace in this sector, the Bermudian, well, not the biggest, but the Bermudian cockroach, the top xenophobe herself, the maggot, that woman, by the name of Andrea Stewart. I mean, you can imagine this woman who's a quote unquote tether herself, all right, and a whole Bermudian, a maggot of all things, decided to run her mouth and talk reckless, and as usual, doesn't know what the hell she's ever talking about. All right. So I'm just going to go through this briefly with some audio that this fool decided to speak. And yeah, we're just going to go through this briefly and just clear up a few things. Hold on a second, folks. Again, StreamYard decided to change up their shit. But here we go. And we're going to listen to this fool. Let's go.
Another comment, name I might even bother mentioning. So
yeah, don't mention my name, miss, please. All right? Don't even bother. But this right here, just to let you know, Keeping It Plain had done a live. It was R.I.P. to MoneyToBurn. And I saw it and I was like, wow, I didn't know that she transitioned. So I went in there and just spoke to him a minute. And he gave me a little insight too on their dealings as far as, speaking about what she was going through. But let's continue. Let's go. This is Griselda, by the way, that's speaking, but let's go.
Another comment, name I might even bother mentioning. So if her family wants that, I did a live and talked about her situation, thinking folk would reach out, and she begged me to take it down. I didn't know things were that toxic with her and others. Now, here's a situation that I was told about. This subject took the liberty to come onto these YouTube streets without checking with the person and disclosing the person had cancer.
Here's the reason why, all right? Because first of all, I thought everyone already knew, mistakenly, my fault. She's on Instagram. I was also a subscribed to her one of her subs on her Instagram. So were a bunch of people in the sector. I thought that this was just well known, and people had a little decorum and said, yeah, so I'm going to leave all the sector BS alone. So that is why I just said, okay, let me show you what I showed, okay? So that people would know. I was doing a live, and I think the live was on Polite. And basically, there was yet another beef going on in the sector. And I'm like, look, a lot of things going on, I'm sure, in life, but this right here is, I'm going back. Okay, here we go. I said, yeah, things, I know that people out there in the sector, you got your little beefs and so on. But yeah, I think this right here is something that we should kind of consider and just let us stop for a second and say, yeah, there's some more serious things in life. And I showed this, and she was in Seattle at the time, and I'll give a link to that. She was having this, I think it was a run or some sort of drive against cancer. And I believe she's from down south, and for her to go all the way to Seattle shows she was pretty dedicated to this. And it says, meet Charla, the face of the Worthy series. I want to thank my village friends and family who are helping me overcome this small battle with colon cancer and recognizing me as an example that cancer does not discriminate. I'm overwhelmed with the support and the love I'm being given. Today is a good day for me. I feel so lucky to be alive. I'm going to keep fighting and keep telling my story. Thank you all for listening, and thank you. And that's what that was. So that right there is what I showed. I'll give you a link to that site as well. But yeah, that's pretty much what I showed. And let me just go through what had happened, because again, my mistake at the time. But I'm going to deal with the cockroach in a second. Let me go to something that MoneyToBurn had sent me when she saw the live, because apparently she was still looking through the clouds at my live. So she sent me this email, all right? And this email simply says, please edit that out of your stream. That's what she said. She said, please edit that out of your stream. And so it said, Nappy, yes, I've been fighting this monster for more than a year with this and have been diagnosed twice. The last thing I wanted to happen is the sector to know what I'm going through. Can I ask that you edit that part out of your live stream? There are only a select few people from YouTube that know, and my intentions were to keep it that way. Please, out of respect for me, edit that out of your live stream. Now, let me say this. No one ever spoke about it again. Nobody talked about it in the live stream or nothing, because quite frankly, with social media and YouTube, the attention span is like so low, and the live stream was long. People really didn't bring that up. People didn't bring it up at all. Oh, I mean, and keep in mind, it's hard to keep anything a secret nowadays. So I'm sure that some people because in this sector, you may be friends with this person and hate the other person and friends with this person. Eventually, stuff like that would come out and get out. But apparently, like I said, I just put it out there because I thought some people knew, and I thought that people would probably donate or something, all right, out of respect. So she sent me this, right? Now, it's luckily, I will say that I did check my email for whatever reason, because if I didn't check the email, it would have stayed up there. So I went ahead and I privated it, and she sent me another one because apparently she was pretty agitated. And she said, why did you do that? My social media is private for a reason. And you dox me. Now, mind you, I did just mention her first name. I didn't put out her address or nothing like that, but apparently, that did bother her. Well, she said, putting my full government up, again, I just put out the first name, but it said, are you going to edit that tonight? Which I did. And she said, I don't want to be dealing with some sector content or sector jokes. Now, this is what kind of got me, because who would even joke about that? Like I said, like Claudia, for example, just an absolutely horrible human being. She really was. But, at the end of the day, however she passed, I didn't put out videos or nothing like that attacking her. Now, what's interesting is that the people who helped enable her, they didn't do any sort of tribute or nothing like that, which just shows you how they felt about her. But I just whatever, because obviously she clearly wasn't in the greatest of health. It wasn't surprising how she passed, but I don't know who would joke about stage 4 cancer unless MoneyToBurn. I don't know. Again, I don't know half of the beefs on here, but and I don't know who her ops were, who all of them were. But yeah, said, I'm going through something very serious. I don't need the extra stress. Please edit that out of your live stream as soon as possible. This has caused me great anguish. To which I said, will do. Once again, I sincerely apologize. So that's the back and forth that we went through. And let me just go back to that insect that decided to talk out of turn and say things that she doesn't know about.
MoneyToBurn had cancer. The person didn't say, oh yeah, go ahead and say it. True, it's a free country. You can say what you want, but the insensitivity is so profound with this subject. This particular subject has
said the insensitivity. Again, you don't know what our relationship is. There's no insensitivity. I don't throw stuff out there to attack people, like you. This is projection a little bit. I don't do that to you, miss. I'm sorry. I'm not as toxic and as batshit crazy as you. And listen to what she says right here.
This particular subject has made comments about other people's families.
Let's stop there. And one thing you know about this woman is that if someone has said something, she has the audio, she has the video, she always throws that out. How many families has AAS attacked? Right off the top of my head, I can name just 10 from this sector. Right? I listen to this woman scream and make a change and make up shit and screaming that he should get deported. How about Brown Sugar Baby? How about transcripts? Right? How about Glorione? Just I rush right off the list, just families that you've come after. You have attacked families. Corey's family. Right down the list. This woman, she recently talked about how she interviewed Umar's daughter, that she paid the daughter a bag, and I'm guessing a pretty big one. Why? So she can infiltrate that family. Umar's father. How about the real descendant of Frederick Douglass? This woman, I could be here all day all the families that this woman has talked about. I mean, she really went there making comments on people's families? You? That's what she does. She throws out all these grenades, and whenever you confront her, whether it's full time, whatever, I'm not talking to them, I'm not doing that, blah, blah, blah. And she runs. I don't want to make this all about her, but this woman is absolutely, she's out of touch with reality, she is. So let's keep it moving as far as what she says. Let's go ahead.
About other people's families. So here's the other comment that was made. We cleared it up. All was good. I don't know what would be cleared up.
Well, let me explain to you what will be cleared up, dummy. Let me just read this. And this is, again, just shows you what she went through, what the battle she was dealing with, and maybe a way that you can help. Let's continue. She said, "Thank you, Nappy." So obviously I had taken that down. "It would be nice if I can share my situation in our sector, but we're not dealing with people that have enough sense to understand how important and serious this is, but they need to know what is happening in our community. Colon cancer is moving fastest through the Black community, and although it's beatable and curable, it is killing us at the fastest rate. Our sector is not mature enough to have conversations like this, and this is why I'm keeping my situation completely private. Now, I do understand that, yes, she does want to keep it private, but there are mature people who would talk about this." Let me continue. "With the exception of a few that are on my Facebook and IB pages like you, I wasn't on her Facebook, but like I said, I was in her IG. If you get a chance, you should take a look at my whole page, and I've been chronicling my journey, which she was, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I've been fighting since 2022. I had a colon resection in July of 2022, where they cut out the tumor and reconnect the two ends of my large intestine together. My tumor was in my sigmoid colon, which is in the lower left hand of the descending colon. I then had chemotherapy for 6 months. I was off chemo for about 2 months, thinking I was all better, and they found a large tumor on my liver months later. Simultaneously, I had a small tumor on my ovary. I had surgery to remove the tumor on my liver. In 2 weeks' time, the tumor on my ovary grew to 10 centimeters. I was rushed to the hospital. I found out I had to have a full hysterectomy. By the time I had the hysterectomy, the tumor had grown the size of 15 centimeters. Both the tumor on my ovary and the tumor on my liver were metastasized colon cancer, and at that time, I was restaged to stage 4. So I am now on chemotherapy again, hoping it stops the spreading. In my downtime, I'm raising awareness to my friends, family, and community, the importance of early screening and paying attention to your bodies. We, meaning Black people, are getting it at the fastest rate, and we are dying from it the most. We can break that cycle. My voice is going to be heard. I'm contemplating eventually bringing my story to the sector. So eventually, she was going to do that. Once I'm done with all the chemo and I get all clear from the doctors that I am, no evidence of disease, I may either let you or KKC or Keeper interview me, someone with some sense. People need to know cancer does not discriminate. Doesn't matter how cute you think you are, how athletic you are, how much money you got, how many subs you have. It can get you. I don't know how old you are, Nappy, but please consider getting a colonoscopy if you haven't already, and if you can, and spread the word to your friends and family, do that as well. I am doing a fundraiser for the Colon Cancer Alliance and Walk to End Colon Cancer. I'll put the link in my description, excuse me. If you can make a donation on behalf of my team, that would be great. Thank you for listening, Nappy. This is a cause that is very close to my heart. Charla. So, and she just broke everything down for me. I'm going to put the link. I'm going to put the link of what she was going through in the description. Actually, the link is right down here, folks. You can see that? So I'll put the link there. Obviously, I don't want to put it in this video only because it tells more about her story, but it also, shows some pictures of her in the hospital bed. And I like this picture right here where you can remember her showing strength, and also obviously the thumbnail that I used. So I think this is a good way for her to be remembered. Yeah, let me just go and say what I also said. I said, both my parents succumbed to cancer, so I know how serious it is. It's good that you're strong enough to write, communicate, and move around, which was good because my own mother, I've just watched her deteriorate. And yes, that's a demon that doesn't discriminate, but you're clearly putting up the good fight. Godspeed throughout your process. And of course, she said, thank you. And I had a different name on there and said, thank you. And please keep this close to your chest. Have a good one, Charla. And there you go. So, yeah. But unfortunately, like I said, this woman clearly isn't finished. Let me just go back to this and finish what this person was saying. But this just shows you, all right? There was no beef or nothing. But let's listen to what this woman got to say.
If someone did not ask you to disclose that they have cancer, but you came on a live stream and did it anyway, what the hell is anybody thinking in any way would be appropriate? Here's something that needs to be recognized. We never put elbow grease into trying to find out who this subject is. How would this subject feel if
She said she never put elbow grease to find out who this subject is. Why would you need to do that? You see, this just shows you that this woman's a fraud. In her about section, on her platform, she said, we're trying to take down Umar, who's a fraud. What you really are is a fucking troll. All right. Someone who promotes ICE and again, who's a whole maggot and a trumpet. She's already given us an idea of how she looks. Clearly, she's this old, washed, stereotypical Valley girl type. Probably like a former Jane Kennedy lookalike. So this online persona that she puts out there, she's a troll. She just seeks to stir up drama and attention. And her demeanor is completely and totally unprofessional. She's really no different than Umar or Darrell. And all she does is takes pleasure in creating chaos, fueling controversy. And just a word of advice, if she gets this, stop talking about Darrell and please just let things unfold naturally. They don't need your help. All right. What you're going to do is force the issue and eventually just mess things up. Somehow it's going to get back to you and you're just going to screw things up. It's clear all you thrive on is drama and attention. And why is she talking about greasing skids and going after me, digging up information on my family, whatever? Because she wants to reignite a back and forth that I had with one of her running mates. That was a nothing burger, and that wasn't true. But this is what fuels this woman, drama. And I'm not going to take the bait. I'm not even going to respond to it. I'm not going to bring it up. I'm not going to say anything about it anymore. I'm going to leave it alone. Because this is what she does. And then when you confront her, is this person coming up? I'm not going to, I got to go down. I got to go down. Ridiculous. Put elbow grease to do what?
we went and put elbow grease into trying to find out where the subject works, who the subject's relatives are, if any of their relatives have died, and we start posting about it. It would be a very different story, but this is a subject who takes all kinds of liberties to talk about people's families. All day, every day.
I just told you all the people that this woman has harassed and who she's going after. I mean, if you want to play this game, let's go ahead and have a contest. How many families have I gone after? How many have you gone after? But again, I just want to clear this up. This has nothing to do with that clown. Again, if you want to, if you know Charla personally, maybe the family has some links, you can put that up. If the family is still fighting the causes that Charla fought, I'll leave the links in there. The link is still up, right? I'll leave the links to the shows that she had with Corey and everything. Basically, you can hear her voice. I'm sure she's all over Corey, or maybe on Smoke's platform as well. And maybe you've had some interaction with her as well. But again, I just wanted to go ahead and, like I said, condolences to her, condolences to the family and everything. And yeah, that's it, man. So thanks for listening. Leave some comments below if you like, and peace and blessings, man. And